It really was unbelievable, Sharon. Really was unbelievable and great to see. Let me tell you, Pat Riley, the great NBA coach, once told me that the players must embrace the team concept. And when they become a team, winning will just be a byproduct. And that seems to be the case with this Immokalee team, because Coach John Weber told me this is not the most talented team he's ever had, but it is the most cohesive. And that led to them winning 17-15 in their first ever state championship game. As good as the Immokalee High School football program has been in the past few years, their football team has never been to a state final until today.
Tremendous, absolutely tremendous to our community. I can't tell you in words what it means to me.
We shocked everybody. Coming into this season, everybody expected us to go like 2-8, and we state champs now.
Now, Immokalee is a community that rallies around their football team. The fans were here in Gainesville in full force, cheering them on to victory.
This win is not just for me, not for my team, and not for the coaches, for the tradition that has gone through Immokalee and for the community itself. And we represent Southwest Florida well.
As with all title quests, the journey to the final destination was most enjoyable.
Well, I'm a sophomore, started middle linebacker and fullback. And for this right here, made me feel good for the 2001 team that almost made it. This is for them.
All right, it is for them, all of Immokalee and their former players like Edrin James, a guy who his cousin Javaris told me he's got to get a Super Bowl ring. Behind me, the St. Thomas Aquinas football team is trying to get another state championship, trying to get another one. Immokalee is safe knowing that they already have theirs. They won today in Gainesville 15-14. I'm Don Brennan for ABC 7 News.
Coming up in just a few, our young team who are now heading back from Gainesville, but our crew's still on the scene, and that's where we find ABC 7's Don Brennan in Gainesville. Donnie, take us how the Indians ended up making Immokalee football history this afternoon.
Well, Courtney, the way they did it to begin with is they went unscored upon in 3 playoff games leading up to the championship game. They beat last year's state championship last week in a shutout. All 3 games were shutouts leading up to this championship game, and then as we go to the highlights, I'll show you how they did it today. Before the game, Immokalee's Rodlin Anthony actually accepts the Scholar Athlete Award. And then in the first quarter, quarterback Philip Perez is going to find Wislet Roussard for a 7-0 Immokalee lead. And they're off and running. They played very well early. Later in the first, Roussard fumbles. And after a chase to get the ball, it goes into the end zone. And Tertis Clement falls on it for a 14-0 Immokalee lead. And then they're trailing 3 minutes to go in the game, 15-14, and Madison County leads when Moses Santil kicks the 42-yard field goal to win the game, and Immokalee wins their first state championship ever as they beat Madison County 17-15 today here in Gainesville.
And this win is not just for me, not for my team, and not for the coaches, for the tradition that has gone through Immokalee and for the community itself.
All right, Courtney, what Javaris James, the running back, their great running back who had 1,600 yards during the season, told me after the game, Edrin James, he's got to win a Super Bowl ring, or else he can't brag because he never won a state championship. That's it from Gainesville. Don Brennan for ABC 7 Sports.
Well, that's it. They'll be keeping it in the family. Thanks, Donnie. The team will not be celebrating.
Well, the amazing thing about this Immokalee team, Courtney, is the fact that they were unscored upon in the 3 playoff games leading up to the state championship game. And they beat last year's state championship, Chaminade Madonna, to get here. And then when they got here, they won it 17-15 in dramatic fashion. Immokalee running back Javaris James, who's the cousin of Edrin James, told me that Edrin better come home with a Super Bowl ring to Immokalee this winter because he won't have anything to brag about. They won a state championship, the first ever in school history. In Gainesville, Don Brennan for ABC 7 Sports. So that's it, Dave. Very tough loss, 29-28. Really a tough way to go out. They don't get to go to the state finals next week in Gainesville at the Swamp, unfortunately, but they were 13-1. It was a good season, and in a couple weeks or a couple months, they'll look back and be very proud of themselves as well as they should be. Reporting live from FIU in Miami, I'm Don Brennan for ABC 7 Sports.
Great athletes, some are seasoned, some are just beginning to blossom, and one family sports a brother-sister combination that has quite a future. Our Don Brennan has the story.
This is Billy Houghton. At 14, he is the youngest golfer ever to have won the Fort Myers Amateur Tournament.
Going into the second day, I had a 2-shot lead, and I just tried to play conservative and pulled it off. It was great.
This is his older sister, Brittany, and she is a pitcher, and she will attend the University of Florida on a softball scholarship.
Everyone asks, they're like, are you glad you know where you're going? And it's a great feeling just to know that that's done, but to also know that that's a huge accomplishment. That in itself is pretty amazing, but even more amazing was the fact that they were both in the headlines in the local newspaper on the same day.
It was a real coincidence that happened all at the same time, and we enjoyed that. As far as the signing, that was the culmination of a great summer.
It makes working worthwhile. The hours you put in for work, and you look at the time and the energy that they're putting into both to their school and to their athletics, just makes it more fun whenever you're putting your work time in.
Now, it takes commitment from athletes to reach these levels, but at the high school level, it also helps to have dedicated parents.
I think they're the ones that just got us where we are. They've given us everything they've got.
They've just taught me the way to go, and it's helped out a lot.
In Fort Myers, I'm Don Brennan for NBC2 Sports. Well, Dave, it took a little longer than they expected. It's beautiful right now, but once again, rain threw a monkey wrench into the plans of NASCAR. They started as planned at noon, but then, then they had a delay of about two and a half, 3 hours.
The racing almost seems like an afterthought this week.
It really does, Dave. Right now I'm in Victory Lane, and it's a place where Dale Earnhardt spent many a day, 76 times in his career. Unfortunately, right now he's in the ultimate Victory Lane. Unfortunately, he crashed in February and passed away, but he is conspicuous by his absence. Here at Daytona, the presence of the late Dale Earnhardt was everywhere, and I mean everywhere. Fans didn't know why, but they had to be here.
It's a real spooky feeling. Kind of yeah, I want to go back, but do I really want to go back and see it again?
What really got me was when we just came around the turn right there and we saw the 3 at the 4th turn, and so we're going to go get some souvenirs and get some flowers and put up there.
Earnhardt died here on February 18th at the Daytona 500 on the very last lap, on the very last turn. He is gone, but definitely not forgotten.
I know when I first went out today and I ran around that corner where he got killed, I thought about him and said a little prayer.
Aside from signing his trailer and leaving flowers at his memorial, some fans like to have a longer-lasting memento of the Intimidator, Dale Earnhardt.
It's something that I'd always wanted to do. I'd always wanted a tattoo anyway, and then after I decided where I wanted it, I knew what I wanted. I'll have a piece of the man from here on out.
Kind of a scary thing. I mean, he's kind of like been my hero my whole life, and now I'm here seeing him in spirit anyways.
And that's it, Dave. He definitely will be sorely missed all over NASCAR, but especially here at Daytona. Tomorrow night, we will feature a local racer from Naples who is trying to become a NASCAR driver. Live from Daytona Speedway, I'm Don Brennan. Back to you, Dave. Tom, the 19th year of the world's richest tarpon tournament is in the books, so the fishtails can begin in earnest. I think I'm going to go tell some of my own, if you know what I'm saying. Don Brennan in Boca Grande. Back to you, Tom. Ceremony now. The award for the largest tarpon this year goes to the boat of Hey Mama, and it was a 111-pound tarpon that was caught by Danielle Zapay, so she reels in $174,000 for her team. That's right, Dave. No sign of the bushes. I believe they're still in Kennebunkport. However, unfortunately, no sign of any fish today either. 59 boats set out for a $174,000 first prize. That's right, no chump change. That's why it's billed the world's richest tarpon tournament. Now, as I said, no fish were caught today. There were 2 near misses. One was a tarpon that was on the line but eaten by a shark before they reeled it in. The other was a shark that got away before they were able to get it on the boat. However, we did not let the fishermen off the hook. We got to talk to them after today's first of 2 rounds. We will be back here tomorrow for the second and final day of this tournament. We will show you who wins, who has the biggest fish story to tell. Live in Boca Grande, I'm Don Brennan for ABC 7 Sports. Back to you, Dave. Dave, for sure, I was headed off to make my pilgrimage to the sports racing mecca right here, Daytona International Speedway. And as you can see over my left shoulder, the number 3 to memorialize Dale Earnhardt. He died on turn number 4. And the last race, Daytona 500, was where he met his demise. It's boxing, the sweet science they call it, but I'll tell you, it transcends sports because these kids come in, they find success in the ring, and they know they can do anything they want with their lives. Hey, there may not be another Tiger Woods in the bunch, it's too early to tell, but it's a game the kids can play and enjoy forever. At Tiburon, I'm Don Brennan for ABC 7 Sports. Miracle General Manager Dave Burke, the Mayor, Bill Hammond. Quite nefarious characters if you ask me. Their scores, fraudulent. So I put on my Magnum PI starter kit and I went undercover.
The mayor, I don't believe it.
Everybody knows Johnson & Wales is a great culinary school, and I said, hey, I'd like to get better in the kitchen. But I took the entrance exam, and Chef Allen said, son, you're not going to make it. Maybe you should try our new golf school over there. So I wanted to try out and be a Dragonette too. They gave me my own dressing room and everything, but the clothes I wore, inappropriate, they said. But 18 girls were appropriate, and they're the new Dragonette dancers. I'm Don Brennan for ABC 7 Sports. At Bishop Rowe High, 3 young men are about to sign their letters of intent to service academies. They made out like bandits today. We go to Matt Hall is going to Navy, John Mooring will go to Air Force, and Taylor Justice is going to play football at West Point at Army. And now here's a look at the rest of today's signings around Southwest Florida. Sandy Allen is a professional hockey goalie. His job is to stop 100-mile-an-hour pucks. Police believe that last night those same reflexes were non-existent due to alcohol.
He'd been at the bar area and had been drinking heavily from what witnesses say.
Thanks a lot, Tom. And we were the only ones to get it here at NBC2. Great shot. You and I had talked recently. I've never seen a hole-in-one live before, and today I got to see a great one. It was phenomenal to see Tom Watson do it. Day started out great. It was a little cold, but the golfers helped get it heated up right quick. Bobby Bowden, the Pope of college football, played golf at Heritage Palms today, so I went over to hear him proselytize on such things as Steve Spurrier.
Steve, number one, was a great football coach, no doubt about it. He just did a job at Florida that was unparalleled, you know. And but he liked to agitate you.
New Gator head coach Ron Zook.
Zook, I think Zook could be a little bit more realistic, you know.
Last season's letdown.
See, from the year before, we lost 14 starters. Then after that, we had 5 starters get hurt and out for the year. Then we had a boy killed. You know, it was really a bad year for us.
His hopes for the 2002 season.
Right now, we're undefeated just like everybody else, and we've got as good a chance as anybody else to win the championship. So, yeah, it's exciting right now.
Now, we got the inside skinny on Coach Bowden because when he came down to sign Deshaun Platt of Charlotte High, Deshaun said that he ate all his mother's food. He said most people are polite. Coach Bowden just dug in and ate.
He said a lot of things, but he probably ate more than he said.
That's my habit. Yeah, I love that part. Yeah, his mom and dad and him, they put on a nice little feed for us when we were there. I'll never forget it, too.
With Bobby Bowden, I'm Don Brennan for NBC2 Sports.
Well, Dave, you got to love it. Anybody who loves baseball loves this time of year. Twins and Red Sox will start off at 7:05 tonight at City of Palms Park.
Everybody comes to see one of his monumental temper tantrums. Well, we got a chance to catch up with him today and ask how he's had to scale back his competitiveness as he's gotten older. So on the heels of this 21-10 win over Denver, the Dolphins and their fans have a lot to cheer about. In Miami, I'm Don Brennan for ABC 7 Sports. Now we got to do another one for NBC. I work for both. Come on, now I got to do the NBC. Really? Yeah, so can I. So on the heels of this 21-10 win over Denver, the Dolphins are now 8-3, and they and their fans have a lot to cheer about. In Miami, I'm Don Brennan for NBC2 Sports.
Tough assignment, tough assignment. Thank you, Donnie. So we sent our own Don Brennan. He admits he's scared of sharks. We didn't bother telling him there aren't sharks in the river. Here's his story.
Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. All right, I know I'm no Harry Connick Jr., but everybody was rowing out at the Riverside Community Center Clinic today, and it's really catching on.
With the club here, you know, everything is provided free. Brad's instructions are free. You can't ask for anything better.
It enables you to use both your aerobic fitness and your overall physical strength.
It's great exercise, a good release for tension, and it really helps to be on the water and just get away from it all.
It's a lot of fun. I've always enjoyed boating, so it's a good combination of fresh air, camaraderie, exercise, and fun.
I've taken people, I forgive the term, total couch potatoes and turned them into rowers. You know, people who didn't think that they could do anything athletic can get out here and just gradually pick up on it and excel rather quickly.
See, rowing's something for everybody. I mean, everybody could do it. Rob Lowe used it in the movies years ago, and it vaulted him into the White House and West Wing. But me, I'm sweating already just sitting here, so I prefer the trusty old motor over all that hard work.
Not everybody gets fun out of exercise, but it's one of those things. I think we both enjoy the waterway.
I can go on the motorboat later in the afternoon when the waves pick up a little bit. When it's nice and calm and flat, there's no other feeling like rowing on an open shell.
Rowing merrily down the stream, I'm Don Brennan for NBC2 Sports. For 5 straight years now, the Dolphins have made the playoffs the most in the NFL, but for 5 straight years, they've gone out in the first or the second round. They knew it would come down to who won the turnover battle. The Dolphins lost that one, too. So, very good job. And Katharine Hepburn may be out there tomorrow looking for Spencer Tracy.
Just maybe. Boy, he did look like him, didn't he?
He does. He really does. And I asked him if anybody's ever told him. He said they have. So behind me, another cleanup begins here at Pro Player Stadium. Another Dolphin season's in the books. They were outscored 147-13 in their last 4 playoff losses. They're not going to win in the playoffs that way. In Miami, I'm Don Brennan for NBC2 Sports. Of John McEnroe, the Lord of Tennis. He's the defending champ here at Nuveen. He's the points leader on the Success Tour so far this year, and he's one of the most notable tennis players of our time, no doubt about it. He's a great showman. He's ultra competitive, and not only that, everybody comes to see one of his monumental temper tantrums. Dave, John McEnroe will play Yannick Noah tonight at 7 o'clock. It's starting to feel like the Ice Bowl here. Dallas against Green Bay in 67. We'll have all the highlights later at 11. Now, because of the great Tico Arena, wonderful management, and beautiful weather here in Southwest Florida, this is considered a plum assignment. Coach Fleming was confident he could be the man to lead them into the future. And, the wind was the story of the day today. Not bad right now. Wasn't bad at all, not hurricane-like by any stretch of the imagination, but early on in the day, it was blowing harder and made it tougher for the early groups. As the day went on, the wind let up and the scores came down. Unfortunately, one of the early tee time victims was local pro John Calabria.
Next week, Mr. Tom James is from Ocala. You ever been up to a bike week in Daytona, Tom?
Actually, no, I haven't.
Oh, my goodness! Where's Tom?
Tom is off tonight, little time off tonight.
Don
He might
Brennan.
be, he's actually at Daytona at the motorcycle.
I'm sorry and I'm embarrassed.
I'm a little embarrassed for you. I think you were out riding your Harley today and you got a little wind through your hair and you forgot all about it. Anyway, coming up, so they're trying to shore up the quarterback position behind Sean King, so we'll see what happens.
I'm just looking at you and realizing that you don't look anything like Tom James at all.
A little.
Okay, we'll be right back. Rumor has it that the new owner, John Henry, might move the Red Sox training facility to Melbourne on the other coast. NBC2's Don Brennan talked with Henry today, pinning him down on an answer to those rumors, and Donny Baseball is here in the studio. Don.
Thanks a lot, Craig. Well, John Henry used to own the Florida Marlins, and he still has ties to their training facility. It's relatively new and updated, so there was talk that Henry may take the Red Sox out of Fort Myers. I got a chance to talk to him today about that and many other things. John Henry grew up listening to baseball games on the radio. As a grown-up, he bought the Florida Marlins, a dream come true. But that didn't work out, so he had another dream, the Boston Red Sox.
Well, as you say, it's one of the all-time franchises, probably 4 jewels in baseball, and it's certainly one of them, so it's quite a thrill.
Henry still owns the Marlins' first-rate training facility in Melbourne. There was speculation that he would move the Red Sox spring training up there. He says it's false.
Yeah, the conditions are pretty nice. I can't imagine why anybody would not want to be here. We have, after this year, 5 more years on our lease at the ballpark, and so we haven't had a chance to think or talk about those. This is my 3rd day here, and I love it here.
As in Florida, Henry feels an affinity to the fans, both in Boston and here in Fort Myers.
As you can see from the fan base here, that's a large part of what you're buying along with the cable network. So it was certainly worth the effort, the price, and everything that went into it.
The Red Sox are here for now. Henry did tell me that he sees no reason for upgrading the facilities at this point, but that may change after he talks to his partner. Back to you, Craig.
All right, Donnie.
Some Gator football. Don Brennan joins us with the new sheriff who's in town.
Thanks a lot, Dave. That's right. We're here with University of Florida head coach Ron Zook, the man who replaces Steve Spurrier. Coach, what's it like to replace a legend?
Well, you don't worry about that. Obviously, you just there's a lot of expectations, and it's a great opportunity and a great challenge, and we're looking forward to getting out there and doing it.
How's it been on the job so far?
Been fast. We've covered a lot of ground in a short period of time in terms of spring ball and recruiting, and now we're into recruiting for next year. So it's there's always something to do. There's not a loss for something to do right now.
Coach, much like Phil Simms when he was drafted by the New York Giants back in the 70s, all New York Giant fans said, "Phil who?" A lot of people said Ron who. How do you respond to the naysayers?
Well, I mean that's part of it. I don't, it doesn't really matter who they would have hired. There would have been some questions, and I'm Ron Zook. I'm not Steve Spurrier. I said it in the beginning, and I'm looking forward to this challenge and this opportunity. And this is a great place. It's University of Florida. That's what makes the University of Florida a great place. Is the people, the expectations of the people, and it's a great place, and they deserve it. They deserve a great program.
Thanks a lot, Ron, and good luck this year.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Dave, from downtown Fort Myers, I'm Don Brennan. Back to you.
Charlie Weis is the imaginative offensive coordinator of the New England Patriots. Weis is also a Notre Dame grad. However, he did not play for the Fighting Irish football team, but the two are now talking about a 6-year deal worth $12 million. Peyton Manning started the day just 4 touchdown passes short of tying Dan Marino's record of 48 touchdown passes in one season. The Colts took on the Houston Texans today. Manning did break a record today, just not the big one. It is now official. Dolphins wide receiver David Boston has been suspended for 4 games after testing positive for steroids. Boston is on injured reserve and out for the season, so he will not miss any games, but he will forfeit 4 games worth of salary, which amounts to $1.34 million. He will now reportedly be tested as many as 24 times next season. The Dolphins are tied with the Broncos in the 4th quarter at 17 apiece as I speak. He was back here in his hometown this weekend for his celebrity fundraiser. Today, Javon, Warren Sapp, Reed L. Anthony, and many others were out to play golf for charity. The money raised this weekend goes to children who are underprivileged, and tonight they will have a basketball game at Bishop Thoreau High School that is also open to the public. Now, I talked with Javon, and he really liked Warren Sapp's golf game.
I thought he was the best when he was on with his clubs, but Reed L. Anthony just pulled up, and he had his clubs as well, so I guess it's some in the water up in Tampa Bay where they bring in their clubs, so I guess they have a little bit of game with it.
Back to your jacket. I like it.
We're thinking it's Jay's.
I think it must be Jay's.
Look at how short those sleeves
And
are.
he popped a button at the top, too.
Oh, it's got to be Jay's.
Well, happy St. Patrick's Day. Thanks for joining us.
See you back at 11. Have a great.
The ultimate goal for any education-minded athlete's the college scholarship. Our own scholar, Don Brennan, caught up with a local girl who's thinking over 3 offers, not just 3 different schools, but for 3 different talents. Here's her story.
Was that star-spangled banner yet wave?
This is the beautiful voice of Natalie Mayer, but that voice belies a tough, determined, and very dedicated young woman. Along with singing, Natalie also plays piano, teaches piano, and she's a very accomplished soccer goalie.
My dad always says that you should pick the position that nobody wants to play. Goalkeeper is the position that a lot of people don't want to play, and goalkeepers are a lot of times in demand.
Natalie is homeschooled, but she plays soccer for the Fort Myers High and for the Cape Coral Cyclones club team. Now, her parents do the teaching, but they have taught her more than just school.
We wanted them to be well-rounded. Music, of course, uses both hemispheres of the brain, and we thought that would help their academic pursuits, which I think it has.
I've already told you about all of Natalie's exploits, and so have other people. But at times, she brings them all together for the benefit of everybody.
We were in Raleigh, North Carolina at the airport. She started playing. All of a sudden, we were surrounded with hundreds of people watching her play the piano.
With Natalie Mayer, I'm Don Brennan for NBC2 Sports.
And then we'll go from there.
Just a phenomenal career. The Miami Dolphins haven't won a game since they beat the Jets in the final game of last season. It was the first time in many years they played the finale without playoff ramifications until this year. The Florida Everblades opened the season with a rousing 6-2 victory last night against the Texas Wildcatters. They had so much fun they figured, hey, let's do it again tonight.
Look who's back.
Donny Brennan. You never know where you'll find the man.
Good to have you back, Don.
Well, thanks. It's good to be back. And actually, 2 Southwest Florida former high school players playing for local teams today in the NFL. The Florida Flame are officially underway as they began their first NBDL training camp today. The Flame have exactly 2 weeks before their opening game at Germain Arena on Sunday, the 21st of November. 4 foursomes vied for the 2004 Shark Shootout lead as they entered today's final round at Tiburon in Naples. Scott McCarron strolling along, and he's teamed with the host, Greg Norman, so he should win, right? Thanks a lot, Tom. See, at the beginning there, I told him to think outside the box. That's what he was trying to do. 48 points separate 4 drivers as NASCAR is in the final lap of their season. Next week is Homestead, which will decide the winner just as the new format was made to do. I love it when a plan comes together. Jeff Gordon is